You think you know the Vikings? Horned helmets, savage beards, living only for plunder? Pop culture has painted a simple, brutal picture. But what if that picture is a lie? The truth is far more complex. In reality, the Vikings were more than just invaders. They were accomplished farmers, skilled builders, and master craftsmen. Above all, they were sailors and explorers without equal. In open longboats, they stared into the abyss of the vast ocean and sailed toward horizons no European had ever seen. This incredible period of expansion, conquest, and discovery, lasting from roughly 790 to 1066 CE, would forever be known as the Viking Age, a time when Norsemen amassed unbelievable wealth and power. But their story of conquest began with a single, horrifying event. In 793 CE, a helpless seaside monastery at Lindisfarne felt the Vikings' fury for the first time, officially launching the Age of Raids. The ease of the raid and the glittering treasures they plundered ignited a fire. This was just the beginning. The appetite of the Vikings had been whetted.
This era created legends, larger-than-life characters whose names still echo through history. Eric Bloodaxe, Bjorn Ironside, and a man who might be the most famous Viking of all, Ragnar Lothbrok. But did Ragnar Lothbrok even exist? Historians debate whether he was a real man or a composite of several Viking heroes, a legend created from centuries of oral sagas. Real or not, the sagas paint a vivid picture. They even tell us his famous surname, Lothbrok, was a nickname meaning dirty pants. Hardly the title you'd expect for a legendary king.
His supposed death is just as legendary. One story claims his rival, King Aella, captured him and threw him into a pit of venomous snakes to die a slow, agonizing death. But in killing Ragnar, King Aella sealed his own fate. He would now face the unholy wrath of Ragnar's sons, including one of the most feared Vikings in history, Ivar the Boneless. In 865, Ivar led the Great Heathen Army to England. This wasn't just a raid. This was a full-scale invasion, a force intent on one thing: conquest.
Ivar the Boneless changed the game. He turned the tide of the Vikings from seasonal raiders into permanent colonizers, murdering kings and carving out a new home on English soil. Ragnar's other sons made their own marks. Bjorn Ironside, not content with the north, set his sights on the warm waters of the Mediterranean, even daring to lay siege to cities in France and Spain. Meanwhile, a new power was rising in their homeland. A warrior named Harald Fairhair violently united the fractured Viking kingdoms, becoming the first true king of a unified Norway. But unity came at a price. Upon Harald's death, his favorite son, the ruthless Eric Bloodaxe, assumed the throne by allegedly murdering his own brothers to secure his claim. Not all Vikings were just warriors and kings. Some, like the famous Egil Skallagrimsson, were also among the greatest poets of their age, composing epic poems, or skalds, to boast of their deeds. In Denmark, another legendary king was born, Harald Bluetooth. Yes, the man our modern wireless technology is named after. He, in turn, had a son who would attempt to conquer England, Sweyn Forkbeard.
After a failed first attempt, Sweyn Forkbeard returned. On Christmas Day 1014, he was crowned King of all England, a Viking king on the English throne. His reign was shockingly brief. Just 5 weeks later, he was dead from a fall from his horse, earning him the title of the Forgotten King of England. As the Vikings expanded, they encountered a new, powerful force: Christianity. Missionaries sought to convert them, and the Old Norse gods began to face a new rival.
The conversion wasn't always peaceful. Olaf Tryggvason became the first Christian king of Norway and used his power to convert his people by any means necessary: torture, beatings, and murder. King Olaf even tasked a young Viking in his court, Leif Erikson, son of Eric the Red, with a historic mission: take Christianity to the distant settlements of Iceland and Greenland. But the age of the great Vikings was drawing to a close. Its final, epic chapter would be written by the King of Norway known as Harald Hardrada, the Hard Ruler.
Ambitious and clever, Hardrada saw his chance when the English throne became vacant. Denied the crown, he decided he would take it by force, leading one last great Viking invasion. In 1066, at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, he met the English army. The fighting was savage, the fate of a kingdom hanging in the balance. But in a single moment, the Viking Age ended. Harald Hardrada, the last great Viking ruler, took an arrow to the throat and fell. And with him, an entire era of history fell.
Their reputation for barbarity was well earned, but their legacy is more than that. They were explorers, innovators, and nation builders who forever altered the course of Western history. Their thirst for blood and adventure created legends that propelled them from the pages of history into the pop culture heroes and villains we know today. A brutal people who created a beautiful and complex culture. Savages or pioneers? Perhaps the most fascinating thing about the Vikings is that even after 1,000 years, they are still both.
And that's all for Viking history for now. Oh, please share, like, follow, and subscribe if you enjoyed the Vikings. See you in next video. Bye.